behind me, and there was a little old man, scarlet and grey, chuckling away. Well, he trotted back to my house, and he sat beside the telly, with his tiny hands on his tummy, chuckling away, laughing all day. Poetry boy to the gnome of us. I'm a laughing gnome, you can't catch me. I'm a laughing gnome, you can't catch me. Said the laughing gnome. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to 9 o'clock live time, the Little Noun Show, live on the Noun Square. It's a combo space.
GM, how's it going?
GM. It is going absolutely great. Let's see where the auction's at here. We're going to go to 9 o'clock.
32.92.
The Bear. It sounded like you were doing a radio station.
Yeah, I mean, more or less we are, right?
32.92, The Bear Market.
Yeah,
we've got we've got a gnome
here at 9 o'clock. I don't know what that means, but you know.
Bottoms out for nouns.
That's what I do when I walk around. I just sag a little.
Please don't. That's not what we mean. That's not what they meant when they said to the moon.
Want to take a peek at the moon?
Hope everyone's having a wonderful Monday. We kicked off with a fun little watch party where we watched the Netherlands versus Senegal, hosted by NounsDAO Africa. Unfortunately, they were handed a defeat at the hands of my Orange, but it's okay. It was a good game. We had fun. Let us know if you guys enjoyed that. We can do more watch parties if they don't conflict with soapboxes going forward. We got 3 minutes and 52 seconds left on the NounsDAO auction, and that's kind of what we're here for. Once a day at what we call 9 o'clock, the end of the Nouns auction. We get together, we go to 9o'clock.app together, we watch the end of the auction. Right now, we've got a gnome wearing a traffic cone gnome, and he's going for 33.58 ETH at the moment. That's a little bit of a tick up from where nouns have been for the last few days, eh, Sam?
Dang it, I said yes, but I was on mute.
Oh, yeah. One thing about spaces, which I wish Elon would fix, is that when you're on mute, nobody can hear you. So
yeah, it's great, right?
I wish they keep telling me that's a feature, not a bug, or something like that.
I mean, it's 5:13. I guess we were at 30, and I guess 5:16 yesterday, right? But yeah, this is a pretty sweet robo gnome.
It is. It's a robo cone noun.
Yeah, and I think didn't we just get another bid? We're at 33.58 now.
33.58, the current bid. One of the nice things about 9o'clock.app versus watching on nouns.wtf is that you can actually see the bids as they come in when they're pending on Etherscan. You can add nice emojis. It's kind of fun. I'm going to start giving this guy some chart bars. And you can also see how much ETH is left in the bidder's wallet. So in this case, for example, he's got 21. He or she's got 21.34 ETH left. So, yeah, he's ready to bid again.
There was a lot of mustard flying over it.
Yeah, the mustard is just flying. Now we got some octopus flying around. It's fun.
Some squirrels.
Once the auction's over, our next order of business will be to go and play a little game called fomonouns. Fomonouns was introduced last year as a way to kind of make the end of the auction a little bit more fun, rather than the next noun being completely random. The way fomonouns works is it takes a look and says, okay, if you were going to settle the auction, which is what you have to, it's something you have to do on the blockchain to end the auction once someone has won it. If you're going to settle it right now, what would the new noun look like randomly? And so it kind of gamifies that, where we can see what the noun would look like if we vote for it right now, and then we vote all up, and then if we vote up enough in consensus, then we make that noun. The only caveat
Cardinal Saturn.
Cardinal Saturn would be the noun right now.
Pie.
That's right. So you're going to want to open a tab. So you've got 9o'clock.app in one tab. You're going to open another tab, and you're going to type fomonouns.wtf, but don't look at it yet. Sam shouldn't be looking at it. You're not supposed to look at it. Don't look at it until later because you'll just be disappointed.
Have it open, because if they don't, it's only going to have a few people on there, and then those few people are going to click and get consensus fast, and it'll just auto mint.
And we don't want to give power to the few here, okay? We want everybody to be able to choose it now. Now, with one caveat, someone has been botting the hell out of this site for the last 2 months. It's really annoying. They often get to choose the noun because we can't compete with the bot. So there's a chance that the bot might just choose the next noun, but there's also a chance that we might get to pick it. So we'll try. After that, after we're done with FOMO nouns, we've got another little game that we introduced recently. No mo nouns. FOMO. We need one of those, Robot Fish Girl, where you do the
one of the no mo.
Exactly.
Exactly. In fact, now we've just recorded that. You're off the hook. We will do
that. Sweet. No, I'll do it on my good mic.
I like this. This is fun.
So we'll do Nomo. We'll do after FOMO. We do Nomo, and
everybody who's on stage, and even those that aren't at home, we just want you to start going Nomo in front of everyone, and just let's see if we can make the world a better place.
Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
No. If you go to Denny's,
why do I feel like I'm the only one who did it?
If you go to Denny's and you're full of food, and the waiter or waitress asks if you would like some more food, you can also do that.
Yeah, you can do that.
You will.
And now it's for our regularly scheduled segment of the show where I inform everyone that Nouns is not a cult.
Yeah,
that's right.
True.
That is correct. So we're down to 40 seconds. Actually, how the heck did that happen? So we're down to 37 seconds. So I hope you got your FOMO fingers ready and your NOMO fingers ready. 32 seconds left. Let me get a little timer here. How come I can't get the timer? There he is.
I got a shout out System DM in the 9 o'clock chat who has joined us for NOMO without being the speaker role.
All right. 9 seconds, and then we're going to go play FOMO together, so be ready. And then after that, we're going to transition over to the little nouns, and they're going to give us a good time. No pressure, little nouns.
Pardon?
That's it. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go. FOMO nouns.
If you don't want the noun, downvote it. Don't just leave it. Downvote.
Downvote immediately if you don't like it.
We need active participation. We haven't been botted yet.
Ethereum saw. We need more people. We only have 12 people. Get on there. fomonouns.wtf. We need your help.
Hey, look at that.
WTF.
Lock with a mask. That I'm still convinced is a space invader.
Fire.
The Locked Mask. That was a great movie.
Oh, dope mushroom.
I can't see.
I like this one.
I love mushrooms.
I got the first one still. Let me refresh. All right, here we go.
A dope mushroom seems like something we should be saying. Yes to.
There we go.
Yes to.
Can you please get that on the?
Yeah, we need to clip that
soundboard, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Hey, did you see how that pipe had almost hip rose glasses? It was kind of cool. They were orange hip rose.
Nobody wanted to see your dirty pipe, Jody.
Whoa! This is a family show.
Ryan has been
cut it out like a cactus.
The later it gets, the more risque Ryan gets.
That's right.
Yeah, my worst.
This noun looks like a prick.
Risque is Ryan.
I'm not a huge fan of this.
He's a prick barber, wasn't he? I call that Newton the aardvark. He hangs out.
We still haven't got the basketball yet.
Oh, get that spaghetti. Get it. Oh, man, that's a good spaghetti.
Good spaghetti.
I'm going to be honest. I voted it down.
Oh, it's a good one. It's got various levels of spaghetti sauce.
I like
How about this one, then?
Bagpipe sunrise?
Gradient bagpipe?
Did he say this one blows?
Yeah, this one totally blows.
All right. Well played.
Oh, dude.
I like it.
Oh, YOLO Builder. That's Sam.
Nobody likes a builder.
Hey!
Sam and Builder. That's a YOLO Builder.
That's a cool one.
I like that. Trade it for the crane.
I know which one Sam's gonna. I know which one Sam's gonna choose from Nomo. That is a beautiful crow.
This is a beautiful crow. I hope we get it. I accidentally voted it down.
If we don't get this one, we're gonna be eating crow for that.
I would call him Crow the
Well,
Raven.
even better.
It's okay. We're gonna get it on Nomo. We're gonna get him on Nomo.
I hope
Yeah,
you
true.
like crow. Yeah, this is exactly what Nomo's for. After this, we're gonna go to nomo.wtf.
Unless it
And get
goes
that crow.
rescue. You can rescue one of these beautiful nouns that did not get chosen. It's the whole
For
point.
just the price of a cup of coffee a day,
That's right.
you can rescue one of these beautiful missed fomonouns.
Ooh, let's go.
Oh, this is nice.
Come on.
Piggy bank. That
Yeah,
piggy's gonna
that's-
go for
It
bank.
looks like inflation.
We really.
Hey, piggy bank.
got
Okay.
it.
All right, we got one now. Let's go to nomo.wtf. Let's go.
1 minute to get your pick your
But I
noun
have
you
to
want.
put my bid in.
So wait, for the Nomo nouns, is it like does it integrate with the ones that are on chain right now or not yet?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
That's the whole point, Joshua.
Yeah, it's the last 50.
Welcome
So
to
what
this
is that
week.
Oh, I
Joshua.
really
Don't
like
go for
that
that
heart.
mushroom.
Oh, the heart of the crow.
WTF. You'll see all the last 50 that came by.
Pencil.
Don't go for that weird mushroom. Go for
I'm
the
going
dope
for the
mushroom.
pencil.
Saturn.
Wait,
I-
Sam, you're not.
Saturn?
Look at
going
the
for the Nomo
pride
builder,
heart.
the YOLO builder. I mean,
No, I'm the pencil. I love you.
Yeah.
I'm the pencil.
That pencil, that's a nice pencil too.
I'm
Yeah,
going
it's got a
Saturn.
little single chain on. Also
10
looks like
seconds.
you squint your eyes.
Should I connect
like
my
something.
wallet or no?
I'm
Yeah,
going
you
Raven.
If you want to bid quickly.
That's
Yeah,
so
connect the
Raven. I gotta get the Raven. I'm sorry.
That's
I
so
gotta
Going
Raven.
spaghetti.
Do I have to
I'm-
connect my wallet to play?
I think somebody's going to go for the... Yeah, people are going for the crow. I'm going to go for the heart. Just because I like the heart.
Raven lunatic. Come on.
Oh yeah, come on.
Who wants to
Gradient
rave
spaghetti.
with me? Oh no.
Fine. I'll click on the Raven. I do like the Raven. I
do
like
like
this
the
heart
Raven.
more, though.
Come on, guys.
I'll look for the heart until we get the
pencil.
Raven.
Raven. Woohoo.
Oh no, where did the spaghetti go? Here it is.
Let's go.
Yeah, you got to be ready for the switch when it moves.
I know. Come
Sam's
on.
cheating.
Yeah,
Sam's
that's
cheating.
That's totally cheating.
Sam's cheating. I
Sam, put
just
that
know
bot
it.
in
I
play.
don't know
Let's
how,
go.
but he's doing it.
I'm with you, Sam. I got you,
Come
bro.
on, you gotta get the pencil.
All right, I'm on the Raven now. I'm on the Raven now.
I only want
Oh
the
my
pencil.
God, you guys are gonna
Raven
lose the
versus
spaghetti.
pencil.
No, it's gotta be the
Sam, I
pencil.
love you dearly, but I got to go with the
Oh, my
Raven.
God.
Yeah,
but
me
I'll
too. Raven
only
all the way up.
But I
I
only
gotta go
meant
with
the
the
pencil.
Raven.
All
I'm
right.
not meant that stupid
Who's
bird.
going? Who's going? 1, 2, 3, go!
Raven.
You guys want me to
Raven!
mint the pencil? You gotta
Fuck,
get.
this is
That's so
close.
Raven.
This is really close.
No double clickers! No double clickers!
Ah, crap! I was just clicking the white screen.
Oh, new no.
I think we got it.
Sticker.
Hey!
Oh, dang.
We got the Raven.
Oh
That was
man,
chaotic.
God, that game is fun.
That is a new
I gotta
record.
ice my fingers again.
So where should someone go if they have any suggestions or feedback or bugs?
Yeah, I guess for now, just DM me or Woody or Ryan. Let us know, but we should make a place for that. That's a good idea. First bug report, a place to report bug reports.
Got a Twitter?
We do have a Twitter at NomoNouns, so that would work as well.
Yes.
Yeah. DM at Nomo.
That's right. So yeah, that was fun.
Ya voy, ya terminé. Espérate.
This is, a lot of people don't realize this is the second yellow background Nomo in a row. Can you believe it?
Who got
Well,
number
it was
1?
either that or
Let's
red.
see.
How does the yellow get chosen? Do
Randomly.
you just do you swap out the cool and the warm for yellow and red?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what Volky does. Yeah, Volky did the descriptor work on that, but I think that's what's happening. Yeah, it's just swapping out. And of course, if you don't recognize those are the yellow and red from TNS. Of course, as a little shout out to the Noun Square. Yeah, so if you're new to Nomo, that's Nomo, and if you'd like, you can mint a Nomo for 0.0069. So literally like $10 if you want to support the show and have a collectible for having been here today, and also take part in some of the gamification that's coming down the pipe for these. That's what you can do. I'm gonna mint.
I got 5. Also,
Shout out
something
to
that
Mike Good. Mike Good
Free.
got number 1 today, everybody.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it's good, Mike.
Hey, that guy's good. Yeah.
What did I get? I need to look. I got 7, 11. Oh, wait, what? Okay, I got 7 through 11. Then I got 11 again.
Ben's not even here, so he can't
Yeah.
go when he's not here.
So I'm being yelled at by Prof saying it's not a crow, it's a raven.
Yeah, I mean, I called it a crow.
I got
once,
number
and
5.
I corrected
That's
myself.
why I said
so
it should be called Crow the Raven. And then when you don't get it, you say nevermore.
That's right.
Wait, a raven and a crow are the same thing, right?
No, ravens are bigger.
No, they're both corvids, but they're different. They're different types of birds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just call them corvids from now on, and
I'm quite confident they're the same bird. I don't know what scientists.
One wears a
decided to say.
mustache.
Yeah.
You'll be spared the wrath of the Nounish professor if you call it a corvid, but no one will want to be your friend. So it's a trade-off that you'll have to deal with.
Is this actually a raven that's like at a rave? Like he's raven?
Oh, it's a raven.
Oh,
Raven's good.
It's even better now.
That's pretty good. By the way, speaking of Mike Good, I feel like whenever he comes on Spaces, he should be like, "Hey, is my mic good?" Should be the way he introduces himself.
I agree.
And
because there's so much bird talk, and because tomorrow's comic strip for the pencil features a bird, I'm gonna go ahead and just slide it onto on here before I put it on the Nounish Society of Cartoonists.
Wait, does that mean that's? Hold on, does that mean that's Alpha?
I guess so. I mean, I think it's a funny joke, which is why I wrote it. So
it's not Alpha?
I mean, it could be. I mean, it's very Thanksgiving centric for the U.S. people.
It's a turkey, isn't it?
It talks about turkey. It talks about a variety of birds.
This has been a new segment, Talking Turkey with Sam Ellis.
Talking turkey? Gross.
Talking turkey on the Noun Square. All right. Well, that's basically what we do at the Noun Square at 9 o'clock. We
see everybody.
We see you later. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
We play FOMO. We play NOMO. We give away 0.069 ETH for someone who retweets the room, but we ain't gonna do that yet. We give a POAP away, but we're not going to do that yet. You're not getting off that easy. We normally have a guest, but instead of a guest today, we're having a combination space with our friends at Little Nouns who do a show at this time. Yeah, boy. Every Monday at 6 p.m. EST. These guys have just been, well, crushing it, as you would expect by someone with the username Crusher. We should have expected it. They've been just doing a great job. They've had Zenek on. They've had some great guests. So yeah, I'll pass it over to you guys, and you guys can take it away, and we'll just listen and be polite. Well, I don't know if we'll be polite. We'll listen.
I think they should read the comic strip. Haha, I'm just kidding.
For what it's worth, I have low expectations. So if nice is the prerequisite, I'll take it, buddy.
Okay, perfect. By the way, your little noun looks a lot like the Nomo noun from 2 days ago, the OG Nomo noun.
So linthead.
Tony, check your Discord.
Check my Discord. Okay. But while I do that, Little Nouns, take it away. Tell us what we got planned for today.
What's up? So I think April will kick us off. But before April kicks us off, I want to just say for the record, I think it's a good thing that Wales USA was 1-1. For those that don't know, Cardinals from Wales, and he's probably been drinking. And I think he would have been a little bit grumpy. So and then if USA won, there's that dynamic. So I think the football gods shined on the Little Noun show today. So with that blessing, April,
and England won. And England won.
Yeah.
And the Netherlands.
So everybody's in a good mood here at the Little Noun show. So yeah, thank you, football gods.
Yeah, April, who do we need to bring up on stage? What guests we got? Who are we going to bring up on stage?
Yeah, we so on today's show, to kick us off, we have a few of the guys from Moonbirds joining us. So aka Stevie is gonna jump up on stage. I think we might need to make a little bit of space maybe to get some new people up there. But Cardinal,
I can drop.
bring a
Yeah, we need to elbow.
We need to drop. We can make him one of co-hosts.
We'll do. Let's see how we do here.
Yeah, let's just start bringing people
AKA up. Steve. Just let me know who you want me to bring up, and I'll invite them. We've got
also you gotta let them know who you want to kick off. No, I'm just kidding.
That's right. This is like Survivor. Every time you want to bring someone else in, we need to know who you want to vote off. And Wyatt's
then-
Ryan Mack.
Ooh, are we voting people off the island?
Do we have a sound effect for that? Because that would
it's that.
He can find one.
Yeah, Robot Fish
Bum,
Girls
bum,
is just
bum.
gonna say something really scary in like a metal voice. Okay, like goodbye, something like that. Except we lost her, so she won't.
Okay, well, everyone be on alert. No, but guys, thanks for joining us this week. Nice to get on the stage together. But yeah, this week on the Little Nouns show, we have AK Stevie from Moonbirds joining us. Proof, community and culture manager, and then we've also got Sadiq up on stage too, who's a product manager at Proof, and then Akin as well, who is one of the founders of a parliament, almost called it a sub-DAO there, but of the parliament Cubaneo, which was set up to chat about all things DAO. But before we dive into the Moonbirds chat, and I should say that the guys from Alps DAO are going to join us in a little while too, to fill us in on everything that's happening over there. Cardinal, what is the tweet that we need everyone to retweet this week for the 0.042 ETH giveaway?
Yeah, I'll pin it up on the top now. So are you doing a giveaway as well, Toadie? Are you? So we're doing like two joint giveaways of this sort of thing.
Well, we'll do our 0.069 giveaway for anyone who retweets the room, since it's a combined space. So we'll do a little later. So if you hit that button on the bottom right there, the purple or white one, and either quote, tweet, or retweet, then you're entered into that draw.
How much? Oh my god.
Yeah, I was gonna say, anybody have quick math skills so we can sum that up? You have a total of how much this show?
No,
$5
$0.069.
billion.
Yeah, $1 billion.
Yeah, $1 billion.
Okay, nice. Well, we'll update you guys when that tweet from Cardinal is up there, and we'll get it pinned to the top. And we are going to be giving away a POAP as well, so that'll be later in the show. I think at around 1:45. So we'll take a little break to give out the password for that one. And yeah, before we dive into the meat of the conversation, just a little bit of Lil Nouns news that we always do at the start of every show. So I'll just run you through the latest update. So first up, Datapod have released a whole host of new June dashboards covering the treasury, auctions, and governance. So if you're interested in what those guys are doing, please go and check it out. In terms of props, Prop 72 passed. So that was to release 175 ETH from the treasury to acquire 5 more nouns, which is obviously super exciting. And Prop House is back. So the latest round has just opened for voting. I think we had, well, just before we went live, we had about 27 props. There are about 15 minutes left to go. So around that amount. So go and check them out, give them a read, get voting, and there'll be 5 winners each for 1 ETH. So yeah, guys, go and take a little look. I believe our main man English also has one in there. So if you spot that one, maybe throw him a vote. Maybe not, if you like it.
I appreciate the love, but yeah. Not a requirement, but yeah.
Perfect. So let's dive in. First, I just want to say I really appreciate Stevie, Sadiq, and Akin taking the time to join us on the Lil Nouns show. I mean, really, like, one of my motivations for getting them on here was, I mean, the main reason I got into the trenches, I guess, of Nouns and Lil Nouns was on the back of the Moonbird CC0 announcement. Like, I really just wanted to understand more about what was happening in like, I guess, the main CC0 project, and how it just worked, how that was functioning in terms of the governance and the DAO. And yeah, it's been a rabbit hole ever since, which has been amazing. But yeah, Stevie, Akin, Sadiq, hi, thank you for joining us. How's it going?
GM, thank you for having us. We're super excited. On Friday, we released the first kind of look at the guidelines of the Moonbirds DAO, and so this is a really great way to kind of discuss that and share some of the information that we presented on Friday. So this is like perfect timing, actually. and we had this plan for a couple weeks now, so it just worked out perfectly. And happy I could bring Sadiq and Akin here, who are kind of two different sides of really what this DAO will be. Sadiq, represents the proof team and the proof side of things of how we're going to lay the foundation for what we would like to see in the DAO. And Akin is just a really great representative of the community, the ones who are super engaged and ready to help kind of guide us down this new road.
No, I know everyone's super excited to hear more, including my co-host Crusher, who recently picked up an oddity and has announced his arrival in the Moonbirds Discord. But Stevie, I mean, I guess before we kick off, maybe you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about like your Web3 journey and how you ended up at Proof and in this amazing role that you have now.
Sure. So I have been sort of always a fan of online communities. I've been on Reddit for over 10 years. Just always really enjoyed this sort of like online community and getting to know people in an intimate way. And I've also, on my like personal, on my like career side, I was a marketing, PR, emergency management, comms person in the local government world. And so both of those, sides of myself have kind of really met in this role. And I'm just super, super excited that like I had this opportunity to do that. But I kind of got into Web3 through traditional finance, trading, stocks, options, all of that stuff. Met somebody who had a Bored Ape and really just sort of found that like art and the community aspect of NFTs really made it a lot more fun and a lot more enjoyable as like a hobby, and also a way to make a little extra money. And when I was on maternity leave, I just really went all into this world. I went back to work, especially after a pandemic, and we at the point where we had to go back to like in the office, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I have to find a way to combine this new love of NFTs and this like deep need I see in like effective and just like careful community management and like engaged and effective community management. And so I started kind of looking for roles in that. And one of my friends, I have like this smaller networking group that I've created for about a year now, just like with all of the people that I've met on my journey to through Web3. One of them happened to be Eli, who runs the Grails and other like artists and art drops on in Proof. And he sent me the link, and I applied. I met with Kevin. We all just really kind of got along. I'm pretty sure I might have said something about squiggles. I'm sure I did. Maybe that really sealed the deal. And we met. He sort of gave me a chance as a mod, and I've sort of just grown my role as the team has gotten bigger, as our community has gotten bigger. And I'm just super lucky that the team has has given me the opportunity to kind of really shape my role and help really make an impact in the community and the team.
Amazing. I think that's great. I bet there are lots of people listening in the audience who perhaps aren't in Moonbirds or the Proof ecosystem at all. So great to hear a little bit about your journey to how you got here. But yeah, Stevie, it would be great, and Sadiq again as well, to I guess dive into the meats of and the bones of it, and really like get into the conversation around Moonbirds and their DAO. And I think like it would be good to maybe kick off with like, why did Moonbirds like decide to start a DAO? I guess from my understanding, it wasn't necessarily always on the roadmap. But I think it's something that the community are super excited about now and have really rallied around, which I mean, Akin is like very much at the center of that. So yeah, it'd be great to hear like a little bit about why I guess like Proof ended up thinking, you know what, this is the right move. We're going to move this forward and start a DAO.
I think it would be really helpful to introduce Sadiq and introduce sort of his role, on the team and what he's doing with the DAO. And I do think that it's something that sort of, as I think the easiest answer to that question would just be that in our decision to make Moonbird CCO, we felt like the thing that kind of goes hand in hand with that, in order to really kind of make CCO as powerful as we could, was to allow the community this sort of access to really expand and really sort of push, what CC0 could do. And there's not a lot of not every project that's CC0 has a DAO, obviously, and not every DAO is a CC0. But I think those two kind of go hand in hand in what makes Web3 really, what makes this sort of use case for Web3 really kind of work together. It really kind of bolsters the power of each of those sort of kind of Web3 mechanics. And so I think that I can't really speak for Kevin or any of that. I don't necessarily want to speak to that, but I think that it really goes hand in hand, and it made perfect sense, right? But what I want to do is sort of kind of get Sadiq's point of view and really what he's trying to do, and kind of explain what the DAO can really kind of do for our community.
Hey everybody, I'm Sadiq, as aka Stevie just mentioned. I'm the product manager on the Proof team, who is spearheading the DAO stuff. I joined maybe 3 months ago. Before that, I was a part of the Proof community. Sort of Kevin and his Modern Finance podcast was sort of an early part of my onboarding to Web3 and everything. When the Proof Collective, the Proof Pass dropped, I was like, I'm not really into the JPEGs. I was more into the technology and sort of the interesting mechanisms, and I didn't quite get sort of the versatility of NFTs and everything. So I missed that. And then when the Moonbirds dropped, I was like, these guys are doing amazing things, are very thoughtful about the space, and I wasn't able to mint that, but I picked one up on secondary, which was a big bet for me. This was, switching around internet money and spending these figures on JPEGs. That was, I guess, sort of a huge signal of my commitment, and it has not disappointed. And so yeah, now I'm spearheading the DAO, and I think what is so very exciting about this, very much akin to the CC0 decision, is Proof setting up the scaffolding to empower the community. There are all these things where we Proof want to surprise and delight, but there are also all of these other things where there are a bunch of things that we might not be able to prioritize, but the community is very excited about and capable of doing. And both the CC0 decision and the DAO treasury and everything will hopefully unlock that.
Oh, amazing. And Sadiq, I think we should just say that you rolled into the Moonbirds DAO announcement with a Nouns cap on. So you've been doing a lot of digging into a lot of different projects and a lot of different DAOs in the past few months working on this project. I wonder if you could share a little bit about, I guess, like the biggest inspirations that you've taken from other projects. I guess not just Nouns, but any other like DAOs that you've seen who are just executing like particularly well.
It's hard to. The Nouns are sort of the quintessential, and I'm clearly a fan of that hat. It's from the NounsDAO, which is a Nouns derivative, supporting extreme athletes. I think there are a lot of different types of projects that are trying to do different things. A friend of mine is using the Nouns builder and has formed Purple DAO, which is funding Farcaster clients on the Farcaster protocol. Like that type of mechanism, sort of the Nouns dynamic works very well for. There are a bunch of other people who have DAOs around sort of investing and things like that. That's not so much the sort of proof model. But what has been most interesting is sort of not figuring out, but like trying to understand what our community is ready for and might be interested in.
So that brings up the obvious next question then. When Moonbird's prop house?
When Moonbird's prop house? I mean, real soon. That has been, so one of the things that has been very exciting and is great about doing the DAO stuff is that I don't have to be as secretive. All the tooling that I might put forward is not the magic. What is the magic are the proposals in the community. And I have discussed in Atkins community, Kuberneo, we're talking about sort of proposal mechanisms and how you can do sort of RFPs and whatnot. And seeing the whole prop house stuff, like I'm very excited about that. We didn't discuss it in our announcement because we wanted to very much sort of unroll, like there are people at different sort of levels of familiarity with DAOs and everything in the community. And we sort of shared the basic elements of you're going to vote. This is how you vote. This is how many votes you have for a Moonbird. This is how many votes you have for a Mythic, that type of thing. But yeah, that will come soon after we get everything set up. Got to vote first, and then we can have rounds of prop house stuff.
That was actually going to be one of my questions as well, in terms of like people accessing, I guess, like littler pots of funding. But exciting to hear that prop house might be the way. But
I mean, assuming the community wants that. But yeah, I definitely think it. I think it makes sense. I mean, some of this is like I work at Proof, and I'm sort of I sort of visualize it as like I have a little boat and I'm putting on a lake and I'm pushing it off into the water. I get to do that as Proof, but then the community decides what happens to it after. And there's been a bunch of support for those ideas and interests, so it makes sense.
And maybe this is a question for Akin actually, but I mean, Akin, from your point of view, what has been the sort of reaction to the DAO announcement that the team put out last week now?
Yeah, so I mean, I'll just give a little bit of intro myself. So Akin Sawyer, I've been a builder in this space full-time for the last 5 years. I kind of found my way into NFTs through DeFi. And so as I kind of dug into crypto, the very first community I kind of spent a lot of time with was Decred. Decred essentially was a fork of Bitcoin and introduced on and off-chain governance. So, Decred has a process that's pretty involved to hard fork the protocol and build upgrades. But I guess the key innovation was the launching of Politeia, which is an on-chain governance process to access funding from the DAO. And so that was sort of my first introduction, full-time into the community. I kind of led governance and strategy for Decred for about 1.5 years, and kind of was really deep into DeFi and sort of saw just the progress of the space through DeFi summer, right? The highs, the lows, got a little bit burned out and slightly jaded about the DeFi space, just being a builder internally. You see a lot of interesting things. And, I got into NFTs, like a lot of people, a little bit not quite understanding, okay, what's this whole thing about JPEGs? Realized that behind these JPEGs is actually an access point into communities, right? And many multi-dimensional things are really interesting. And at some point down my path, I just felt like NFTs were a better better tool to form capital as a means for capital formation and actually building community, because it's a lot more involved than tokens, which are fungible and you can just kind of buy and sell. But NFTs sort of encapsulate a lot more in terms of identity, connection to community, and over time. For me in particular, I feel like the more people sort of build their personality or build their reputation around a JPEG, the harder it is to exit the community. And so it just felt to me like a much better way to kind of form capital and build community. And so, a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a month and a half ago, we launched Kubernetes. And part of the impetus behind that was the original announcement of the DAO, and then knowing that there was going to be this gap between that announcement and the actual launch. And so there was a lot of just, conversations that were happening, within the community. And we felt that, there needed to be a dedicated space where these conversations could kind of be a little more focused. And so that was the view into launching Kubernetes. And thus far, I think, it's sort of moving along the path we hoped. The whole point, and one of the lessons I took from Decred was that, the process through which proposals are actually, thought through and discussed is actually just as important, if not more important than the actual voting, because a lot of community building actually happens within those discussions. And so part of the goal for Kubernetes was to create this sort of forum where people could come with either, fully baked ideas where they just wanted feedback, or even just starting with ideas. Like, if I have an idea for something, right, could that spiral down into like a series of conversations that leads to proposals? And thus far, that's what we've realized. I think we've just created a space where people can come with ideas, with proposals, and just sort of build relationship, right? And leverage each other to sort of build agreement, a consensus around certain initiatives and things people want to do. And so I think it gives people who have ideas and proposals confidence, or at least a forum to kind of build confidence and get feedback and maybe iterate around the idea, such that once it's ready to be proposed to the DAO, then you can kind of feel confident that you have initial kind of feedback from the community and you can kind of launch it there. And so part of the goal is to use it as a mechanism, right, to ensure there's a way for quality proposals to end up in the DAO, right? And ultimately that's, in my experience, one of the things that drives engagement in governance processes is, are there like really good proposals coming through? And oftentimes good proposals just don't show up like they're developed. And so having a forum where people can, right, develop and build capacity around, taking things from idea to fully built proposals, I think is useful. And so, I mean, that's what we've seen so far. I think the initial response and to your question, the initial response from folks I've spoken to the proposal, I think has been pretty positive. And I think to some extent, I mean, I didn't really see any surprises, right? And I think some of that is because some of these conversations have been happening, right? And you sort of get a sense that, okay, right, we're expecting certain things from, from the team. And I think a lot of what we expected kind of showed up. I think that's because it's been a process of, those ideas being shared openly as to what we wanted to see, and I think the team responding to that, but also the idea that this is just a draft, so this is sort of just a starting point where people can give feedback, right? Bring things up, and so ideally by the time, right, the DAO document gets to its final draft and goes through ratification as the first proposal in the DAO, like there should be no surprises, and it should have all the fingerprints of the community and their feedback, such that, it should pretty much swim through. So, I mean, so far so good. I think, the last thing I'll say is, I think, right, the culture of co-developing ideas is something that's beginning to emerge within Moonbirds, and within the community. And I think that's healthy and helpful because people will feel like they have a voice, right, through the process. And, right, the ratification of that DAO document gives it a good standing to say, okay, this is something that was community built. This is not just something that came on from up high from proof. And I think it puts us in good stead to hopefully continue that and mature as a community around just having, structures in place to bring good ideas and good proposals and hopefully successful deployments of capital.
No, I couldn't agree more. I think the co-creation of the DAO itself sets us in good stead for when the proposal actually comes time to putting proposals up. And again, I wonder if that's what you see the future of Kubernetes in terms of it really being a place to sort of incubate those ideas and those proposals once the DAO itself is up and running.
Yeah, I mean, I think, we've already kind of started along that path. And I think once the DAO is there and the funding is available and the mechanisms are clear, then I think it takes us to like a next phase, right? And I think, the hope is that, more conversations begin to happen there, more people come with ideas and proposals, and then they leverage the community. I mean, the one thing that I think, makes the Moonbirds community somewhat unique, is that there seems to be a lot of builders in the community, right? People who have already been building things, have ideas. And, I think part of the goal for the DAO is to ensure that a lot of that talent and resource stays within the community. And so enabling people who, for example, have already built things that have been beneficial to the community, have some funding to, continue doing those things, or even, go further, I think is important and valuable, right? Because we're also in a talent competition, right? You sort of want to kind of keep the best minds, and the best ideas. And so if Kubernetes can be that forum where people feel comfortable bringing the ideas, getting good feedback, and ideally, having better proposals come out the other end, then, we're successful, right? Because ultimately we have good things to vote on, but we also just have a good, vibrant forum where a lot of the energies of the community can be channeled, right? And different resources can add value, and hopefully, that's accretive to the broader community.
Yeah, 100%. You can already see that cultivating over there. But
April,
just
do
before
you mind? Do
we,
you have a second? Can I jump in with a question, or do you want to keep going? I
I
just had a
think we
question for
just
you.
need to let Cardno do the POAP. I
Oh,
think
very
we're
good.
on
Okay.
POAP o'clock, and
Yeah,
then we'll English you shoot.
I'm the
Why
guy
don't we
who
do
was like,
both? Why don't we do both POAPs, a double POAP all the way across the sky?
yeah, I'm more than happy to do that, Tony. Do you want to lead with yours then, as you're like the bigger brothers?
Bigger brother, okay. Big
Yeah.
brother Ryan Mack, do you have a POAP for us for everyone who tuned into 9 o'clock live?
Always have a POAP, Tony. POAP stands for Proof of Attendance Protocol. It's a digital badge that shows you attended today's Noun Square with us. You can head over to poap.xyz or your phone's marketplace and download the POAP app. When you go to the app, you hit the mint button in the bottom right corner. Then you hit the secret word tab. And today's secret word is www.nomo.wtf.
Nicely done, and also saves me from explaining a lot from our POAP. But just you do exactly the same thing as what Ryan said there for the little noun show. Our POAP and our secret word is proof moonbirds nouns, all in lowercase. So it's proof moonbirds nouns, all in lowercase. Thank you very much.
Can I just say that the POAP looks amazing this week? It is.
Yeah, I'm gonna
AK
probably
Stevie's Burb.
I'll probably tweet
that's
it out
really
and
cool.
pin it to the top. Yeah.
Yeah, get that pin, Cardno,
Yeah, I will do
definitely.
that.
English, you had some questions. You're on mute.
He normally has questions.
He always has so many questions.
I think he might have a lint ball in his mouth, so you might need to take
Oh no, English, have you rugged?
I think he's
Okay.
right.
Okay, well we'll see if he comes back up, because his hand was popping up and for a few minutes.
Whoa, there he is.
I had somebody come into my office, and I'm like, yo, not now. And then I'm trying to do the POAP too, and just too many crazy things going on. So
it's like, not now, work. I'm doing nouns things.
100%. I was like, listen, don't disturb me, dude. Anyway, well, I did have a question. First, let me ask Carno, can you repeat the POAP, because I can never get our own POAPs.
Yeah, it's proof moonbirds nouns, and you can repeat that as well, because my accent sometimes doesn't come across very clear.
So 3 words: proof, moonbirds, nouns, all together, all lowercase.
That's correct, sir.
All right. So Ken, you were mentioning, keeping builders, that are already there, keeping them excited, keeping them building. Did you want to take us a little bit of how, you've allocated funds and how you plan to keep on generating revenue? Is it through the props itself or other mechanisms? I know at Nouns we have, a daily mint, little nouns every 15 minutes, potentially. Any kind of thoughts in terms of runway, what you've done in terms to raise capital or distribute capital into the current treasury, and future plans for when maybe that starts to either run low or run out?
So
Yeah, I think
let
that's a
me,
question for Sadiq. Yeah,
well,
Sadiq,
let
go
me just
ahead.
jump into the first part. Like the initial configuration, and I don't remember the exact numbers, is that there's a bunch of ETH that Proof is handing over. There are a bunch of Moonbirds that Proof is going to put in the treasury. Well, there's a bunch of Moonbirds that Proof is going to acquire for the treasury, and then Proof is also going to donate a bunch of Moonbirds. So that's the initial treasury, and then 35% of royalties are going to go to the DAO on an ongoing basis. Now, clearly, when we initially sort of laid out the royalties thing, the market was different. The royalties landscape was very different. But that is what we are going to start with, and we'll sort of figure it out going forward. So that is the starting equation for everything.
Yeah, fair enough. And then just my second question, I just didn't want to cut
Can I
anybody
say?
off in the beginning. Go ahead. Yeah, of course.
Oh, I was just going to say, just to be clear or specific, we'll be seeding the DAO with $2 million in ETH, as well as 500K worth of Moonbirds. So we will be, seeding the treasury with that much of ETH, and then slowly acquiring Moonbirds. As well as giving 7 of our Moonbirds from the treasury to the Moonbird DAO. And so that's what we're seeding the DAO with initially, and then moving forward, they'll be receiving that 35% of net secondary sales royalties from Moonbirds, as well as the Mythics collection, which is coming next year.
And that was the perfect segue. Actually, thank you for your answer. My second question was, as far as Mythics, you mentioned, or someone mentioned that that's 1 vote, 3 votes for Moonbirds. Mythics hasn't come out yet. Has Proof / Moonbirds come out with the mechanics on how that will be distributed? I think it's related to oddities, or did you want to touch on that? How do I get a Mythic?
How do you get a Mythic? So what has been discussed is that if you are an oddities holder, you will be able to burn your oddity, and you will get do you get the Mythic immediately, or do you get the egg? Burning an oddity gets you in the sort of Mythic pipeline. Do you remember the other parts of it? I don't know what has been discussed publicly.
Well, I'm not sure about eggs, but I correct me if I'm wrong, Stevie, but there's going to be like a slow drip mechanic, correct? The latest I heard was that, I guess in a similar vein to Nouns daily auctions, but the mythics are going to come out slowly over a few months period. So it'll be, I think the last I heard was like 25 a day. And you can either put your oddity in that big fat burn pot to get back out a mythic at some point over that period. And then also, if you hold a Moonbird, you will also receive, I believe, at least 1 mythic over that same time period. Can't remember exactly what that time period ends up working out being, though.
Exactly. And so because it's going to be a slower release, really for the first part, like the first votes, and really sort of like the initial part before we start having like any sort of significant amount of mythics, it will be mostly Moonbirds who have the votes that can they'll have the majority of the votes for sure in the beginning, is what I mean.
I think what Sadiq touched on in the presentation as well, and like even if it ends up that there's the maximum amount of mythics, say, or every single oddity is burnt, which I'm sure won't be the case, but even if that were to occur, then Moonbirds would still in that case have, I guess, more voting power. Is that correct, Sadiq?
Yes, it is. Moonbirds would be an individual Moonbird will be senior to an individual mythic, and Moonbirds as a group will have more voting power than mythics as a group.
Nice. And I mean, maybe this is a good time to ask Krusha. Krusha, you recently bought an oddity. Was that with the intention of putting it in the fire in a couple of months' time?
I think so. Yeah. And I bought it mostly because, because April, you as a Moonbirds holder talk about Proof and Moonbirds incessantly. So I really didn't think I had a choice. But no, it was
I know Crusher pretty well, and he can't resist a good burn mechanic in the gamification. So I'm pretty sure that had to play into it. So
That's
I'll
true.
just say that.
Ideally, I may pick up another one because I do think you talk about the gamification. I mean, it's similar, not exact, obviously, but similar to, apes and mutants, where the longer you held the serum, the more valuable it becomes. I think the interesting thing with moonbirds, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that moonbirds holders who hatch their mythics, if people do not burn the oddities, the moonbirds will keep hatching until the 20,000 collection is complete. Is that right?
That is
Alpha.
that is what is out right now for sure.
But that may change.
I'm not. We honestly cannot say anything.
Crusher, man.
Can't
You
say
heard it here
anything about
first on the Noun Square.
Alpha being dropped.
Everything by Stevie's intonation and hesitancy tells me that might change for sure.
Okay, well, guys, before we get you in any more trouble, Sadiq, one of the other things that I don't think you mentioned in the presentation at the end of last week, but I've heard you and the team speak on before, is this idea that proposals that are passed, not only will they be sent a nice little bag of ETH to go out and execute in the big wide world, but there'll also be someone within the proof team who is there essentially as I'm not sure the correct word, not mentor, but like someone who the people working on these projects can reach out to for guidance and advice when needed. Is that still part of the plan? Because I really think that is amazing if so.
It's very much a part of the plan. We're still trying to figure out the details of that. Like the net is we are invested in the success of this thing. I mean, it would make the DAO great. It would make the community great. It would make proof great. So trying to get sort of the group over the cold start issue, and that'll initially be proof. But there are also a bunch of bright people in the community. And once we can start to make those connections, the machine itself can sort of gather its own momentum. But yes, we'll be supporting people.
Amazing. And Joshua, you have your hand up. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I'm curious about quorum and how difficult it will be to get proposals passed. One thing that I think was really interesting and remains to be interesting for Nouns is the cadence is such that quorum is typically met on almost all of the votes so far, even the ones that get defeated. And I think there's something really special about that, especially up front, is gaining that momentum of funding a lot of things quickly and allowing the difficulty rating, so to speak, to go up at a natural pace. Have you guys considered that stuff?
So we have considered it. In our initial proposal, we set sort of the quorum threshold at 10% of outstanding votes. But to your point, it really is a question of how the community evolves. And that's also one of the things that we as Proof will be watching early on. And I'm sure the Kubernetes community will also be watching. Our point is to get people to participate, to make it as easy as possible for people to participate in a sort of knowledgeable way. And if that is sort of writing summaries of proposals and creating sort of systems of delegation. But then the other thing is making sure the quality of the proposals is great. And sort of our boilerplate for what is going to be in the proposals is hopefully going to help that. And we're going to do a bunch of legwork to try and help people answer the right questions and hopefully make magic happen. I'm excited up until now, but yeah, it feels like the process is unique to every community.
And Sadiq, maybe you can just touch on what a proposal needs to actually go on chain in terms of Moonbird's holders and support.
So there has to be, the person who is proposing it has to be a holder within the community, have either a Moonbird or Mythic. And we are encouraging them to sort of, in the idea phase, sort of get advocates on their side, network, flesh it out, see where they're leaning on it, And then they have to have 5 community sponsors in order for it to be a proposal that can be voted upon. Like the whole thinking there, of course, is that you don't want someone to come up with an idea in their office, put it out there, and have gotten no momentum behind it, have not taken the temperature of the community. We're hoping for most things that it will be sort of a foregone conclusion once the proposal is put together. But those are the sort of restrictions and guidelines for what can be submitted. Are you asking about what's
it's not just
in
like
the template?
anyone with a moonbird that could, like, a certain amount of moonbirds can put a proposal. There's like a vetting process.
Yeah, I mean a community vetting process.
It's tight.
Yeah, so Sadiq, you're saying that in terms to go on chain, you yourself as a proposer need a moonbird or a mythic, but then you also need to have gotten 5 other community sponsors to, I guess, go along for the ride a little bit with you. Yeah.
Who are the community sponsors? Sorry, I might have missed that.
It's just other people.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sadiq, are you saying you only need one moonbird to put something on chain, or do you need more than one? Or you haven't settled on a number yet?
You need, right now, you only need one. That's what we're thinking. I mean, some of this is we want to make it easy for good ideas to get out there. We want to make it hard for garbage to clog up people's voting. Like that's the thinking. We're sort of gonna figure out where that is. And once it is no longer on my laptop and I can just change the guidelines, it'll be more of I'll be watching the process and I will be making proposals to the community that is most focused on governance and be like, I think this threshold should be moved up, it should be moved down, so that we can sort of adjust the system to make it more successful. But yeah, right now, one moonbird or mythic in order to make a proposal, and then 5 sponsors in order to get it to be voted upon.
Sounds good to me. I mean, that's essentially what happens within I guess most of the DAO communities. I see that in Nouns, even if it's not formalized in that sort of way. But I also think it's interesting what Joshua was saying about the quorum, and I wonder, Sadiq or AKCV, how big a role you think delegation is going to play for the Moonbird Star, because we do have such a large unique holder base. That keeping people engaged in that process of voting is going to be super important.
I mean, that is a good question, one that we also have, and really will be a function of what the proposals are, how many people in the community want to read all the proposals. Like I've been talking within Kubernetes about having some sort of summary of the proposals that other people who may not want to delegate can read. Like I go to Wirecutter when I want to go buy a product. And when I'm in the voting booth and I know who the top people are I want to vote for, invariably there are council members that I don't know anything about, and I'm Googling stuff within there, and I Google someone I do trust. So it does run up against, in the best case, everyone has done the legwork and have informed themselves and they can make quality decisions. But that's a spectrum and that's a continuum. And hopefully we can facilitate as many people participating at the level they want to. But yeah, I don't know exactly what that threshold is.
Sadiq, have you seen Agora that we use for Nouns? Have you seen that yet or no?
The word sounds familiar. Nothing is coming to mind. Nouns Agora. It's in my history. Yes, I have seen it.
Okay, it's a website where people that are holders of nouns that don't want to participate in governance can delegate them to people in the community. So
it's like a delegate marketplace.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah, you give your LinkedIn profile.
And then we also have Rocco, which is a great tool that you can.
So there are too many Nouns tools. There are too many.
Hey, that's not a bad problem to have.
Rocco's going to make everything.
It's a feature, not a bug.
Rocco is an AI tool being built by an AI pod that will summarize proposals, and is also a smart search. So you can say what's this proposal about? Who's talking about it? And it'll bring up the information and kind of bring up the different convos and then
I
summarize
mean,
it and stuff.
I would love to utilize as many of these things. Like we at Proof we're not competing with anyone on DAO tooling. Like we want to live in this world. We want to live on top of these tools that the Nouns are using and other projects are using, and we want to contribute to them. This is all right now. Right now we need to crawl, and then we're going to walk, and then we're going to run. But like the crawling is getting anything set up. After that, it is hopefully integration of a bunch of things. But I guess also we did a survey early on about like how focused our community is about it being all on chain, explicitly trustless, all of these things versus being a thing that they can interact with less friction. It's sort of a weird thing because like the nouns, you buy a noun for governance. Like that's the whole point. Little nouns have a lower price tag. So exposing them to voting to a wallet that you may be signing stuff, that's kind of okay. Like Moonbirds are neither of those things to the extent a bunch of people bought a Moonbird, not necessarily for voting. And it's in a wallet that is on a ledger that's under floorboards and they don't want to ever bring it out. Like allowing even those people to interact with these sort of voting mechanisms is also a thing we're trying to figure out. And that's unique to our community.
Sadiq, just quickly, because you did mention that maybe people didn't buy a Moonbird for that, and maybe I'm wrong here, but when I was reading up a little bit on, the Moonbird's ecosystem as far as the DAO implementation, I got the feeling that either it said explicitly or I interpreted, I can't remember at this moment, but that it would be a DAO, but also alongside Proof executing. Did I read that right? And if so, what does that really mean? What will the Proof Collective be doing for Moonbirds as an NFT project, as a brand, or whatever that might be?
I mean, I don't understand exactly the question, but let me. Proof, the community.
Was that directed at me?
Yeah, definitely.
I directed at anybody really that could answer the question. Maybe I just read it wrong. I think Nouns very much so is centered around the DAO. And, does Moonbirds have anything outside of that? Whether it's Proof behind it that's trying to do executing like from the core team perspective, like a more traditional NFT PFP project alongside
I
the
see.
DAO?
I see. Yeah. So what we're going to try to do, and what Kevin's kind of explained, is that it's going to be, we are effectively like the bumper rails, in like kiddie bowling, right? We are going to be, assuming tax, like any sort of like tax implications of any of these projects. We're going to be setting these guidelines as Sadiq has presented, and I pinned it at the top. By the way, it's in there somewhere. But we're going to be sort of setting the stage, making sure we don't do anything illegal, and setting the guidelines for like maximum amount of money that can be given in a single project, et cetera, et cetera. But again, all of those things are sort of guidelines. If folks really wanted to vote and change any of those things, they could. And so it will be run with us, and we definitely want to participate in this. Like Justin is super excited to like help create some logos and like help with design services. And I think a lot of us will be available even for like engineering services potentially, sort of depending on, our resources and everything. But we want to be there to help folks create something that can be the best that it can be. And we're working on different ways that we can sort of assist all of these projects. But ultimately, what really kind of happens with these projects is ultimately up to the DAO.
So I think one other part of the question is that like Proof is not going anywhere. Like this is not, Moonbirds is we are creating a DAO in order to empower the community to build a bunch of stuff, and also raise up
I might be
Moonbirds brand.
I'm not sure, but I can't hear
I
anything
can't hear
anymore.
you.
We hear you.
Oh, okay. So this was just an awkward silence?
Twitter
No,
does
Sadiq
this thing sometimes where it will run only
talking.
certain people.
She might not be able to hear me now.
I think maybe
is that
you
what's
can't hear
happening? Somebody was
Sadiq.
talking and I just couldn't hear him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, somebody tell Stevie that I'm talking. But so the DAO will be doing stuff. Proof will still be doing all the stuff.
Now. It must be.
It's all good, Stevie. Sadiq's talking. No stress.
Yeah. both of the things will happen. I think proof will be doing stuff that requires like a high degree of negotiation, like with partners and things like
I
that.
can't hear anything. Is anyone talking?
Both
Yeah.
Moomba's DAO
You guys
and
are
proof
like,
will be doing stuff. Period.
is this a trick?
Elon, do
I don't
something.
think she can hear any of us now. But to Sadiq's point, yeah, I think the team have reiterated like quite a few times now that just because like the DAO is being set up, it doesn't mean anything's been taken away from what the team are doing in terms of executing on the roadmap that they had set out in their mind for Proof and Moonbirds itself. But yeah, guys, I just want to quickly. It's been amazing having you guys on, and we also have NounsDAO on to chat about what they have coming up. And I just know they have a little bit of a time crunch. I just wanted to offer you guys, if you want to say any final words, or if Cardinal or Krusha had any final questions before we jump over. I think it's been a really great conversation. I appreciate all of you guys taking the time.
Yeah, I do have one question, and I know they say there's no such thing as a stupid question, but I think I'm about to ask a stupid question. But here we go anyway. As far as going back to what you were saying with the utility of different things within your ecosystem, and you obviously touched on oddities. I take it that if you don't burn whatever you do with an oddity to get a mythic and just keep the oddity in its entirety as it is, that you won't be able to participate in the DAO going forward with just an oddity. Is that right?
That is correct.
Yep.
Perfect. Nice and straight. That's what I thought, and I just thought I'd ask the question.
I get the feeling that because Cardno's a Gremlin fan, he wants to own one, and he wants to keep the actual oddity.
And have the voting power.
And he's a little bit sad about if he had to burn the poor little oddity, and it has to go in the Inferno.
Yeah,
so we would love to figure. Some of that art is amazing, and I'm hoping the wonderful ones don't get burnt.
Yeah, right. I can imagine. But yeah. Thank you for answering that. That's all I wanted to know.
We'll have to have some kind of oddity funeral service to commiserate all of those that got burned in the name of.
Oh, that sounds fun. We'd be happy to host. That'd be great.
But
sorry,
okay,
I hope I didn't sound too excited
thanks.
about that funeral, but yeah.
No, it sounds like a good show. But Sadiq, again, Stevie, and the audience, thank you guys so much for coming on. We really, really appreciate you taking the time to tell us more a little bit about what's planned with the Moonbirds DAO. And now I'd like to say hello to Thar Swami, who is the co-founder of NounsDAO, and he's kindly agreed to join us this week and tell us a little bit about what's happening over there, what they have planned for the DAO itself, and the first IRL event that is in the works for early next year. How's it going?
The Swami, if I can just interject real quick for housekeeping, I do have to jump off as host in about 12 minutes, so just a quick note about that. So if we can try to keep it within 12. Can you do it, Swami? I know you can do it.
Yeah, like I've got to get on a call in 15 minutes, so I'll try and keep it really brief.
Perfect.
But thanks, April, and thanks for having me on.
No worries. We'll love having you. Can't wait to hear. I'm sure everyone in the audience as well can't wait to hear all about NounsDAO.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, for those that don't know me, I joined Nounsel via my daughter, Little Purple Blueberry, back in June of this year. And early on, I mentioned on a Nounsel call that I'm involved in the ski industry, and Ben Body, who loves the snow, was basically all over it. And we kind of DM'd back and forth for a bit back in late June around ideas to initially just put together an IRL event in the snow. And the more that we talked about it, it evolved into spinning up a DAO and forking the Nouns auction protocol. Nothing's easy with Ben. He tends to like to go all the way with things. And we just had a lot of ideas around the art and also what building a community and treasury would look like. And I guess over the last sort of 5 months or so, we've sat down and we set some objectives for the DAO, which are really revolving around trying to build a community of alpine enthusiasts, where we can share things like travel tips and gear or job postings, and also proposals and ideas for the DAO. Obviously, we also wanted to proliferate nouns within alpine communities. And that's where we want to use the Treasury to support proposals like sponsoring ski schools, or doing things like signage and branding at ski resorts, or even creating Nounish ski merch. And we also wanted to set objectives around providing member benefits to members of the DAO. So as the membership grows, we can more easily leverage the size of the community to negotiate discounts at ski resorts or perks for members, such as like First Track's lift access. One of the other things that's closer to my heart is to how can we use this Treasury to improve alpine regions, where we want to support proposals that help solve problems that a lot of alpine and rural communities face in terms of things like agriculture or education and environment. So it's going to take a bit of time to grow the Treasury to support a lot of these ideas, but we want to get the ball rolling. Some of the other things that we wanted to do as well to encourage, creating Nounish features and infrastructure around alpine resorts, where we could create opportunities to support Nouns branded retail or food and beverage or lodging at resorts, or even following what NAS has been doing, which is sponsoring terrain parks to replace what they do with skate parks. And sort of lastly, we wanted to organise IRL events and meetups, which is actually one of the first things that we're planning for this ski season. And during those 5 months, we've got a pretty great team of people involved. April, who's also on this call hosting, is part of this team, and pretty serendipitous that she's actually based in Hokkaido, where we're planning this first event. And Gami from NAS is involved in helping us with strategy and some of the socials. Ski Lift, who owns the first ski lift now, is also involved with us, and he also sits on NSFW. Or Toshi, who's in the crowd here from Nouns on the Ground. We've got Very Masa, who's over in NounsDAO Japan, and Blooms. It's also helping us out, as well as a couple of really good seasoned developers. So we're about to launch the auction site, hopefully this week. I think even today, if we get the contract deployed. The way that we've structured this is similar to Nouns, the difference being that the cadence will be 8 auctions a day. So we do 1 auction every 3 hours, starting at 0.08 ETH, and 8 representing the 8 largest alpine tundra biomes in the world. And just to sort of quickly wrap up, the first thing that we're trying to do is launch an IRL event in Hokkaido. We've got ticket sales, which we launched last week. The event is from the 13th to the 17th of March, and it's going to be held at Rizutsu Resort in Japan, very near to where April lives. And yeah, Hokkaido is just known to have some of the best powder in the world. You've got amazing culture, you've got great food, and it's an event that we're planning that's not just for people who want to come and ski and snowboard. Like, we've got a whole bunch of other activities that are planned, including conference facilities that we've booked out for attendees, where they can actually create their own meetups and sessions to workshop or introduce their projects. And maybe April, I'm not sure how to link here, but maybe we can link. Oh, you've done it anyway. Yeah. The pinned link in our bio links it to the ticket website, where you can find out some more information. We've priced this in ETH, and we're selling tickets as NFTs. And we did this as a conscious decision to really embrace crypto as a form of utility of ticket sales, and also to maintain attendee anonymity and for them to keep their pseudonyms. So I think it's the first kind of noun-specific IRL event that we're trying to do. So in a nutshell, that's what we're planning to do. I think one more thing to add is, if this event goes ahead and we get some minimum numbers together, we're also planning on nounifying the resort over in Japan. And that's going to include things like branding the gondolas with posters, putting signage of Nouns and NounsDAO and other extensions at gondola stations, inside the restaurants that are on the mountain, branding a terrain park as well, with banners and posters and naming it basically Nouns Terrain Park on the trail maps. So we're looking to hopefully put a proposal in to go on chain sometime this week or early the week after.
Yeah, and for those in the audience who love skiing or snowboarding, I really can't recommend Risotsu enough. It is literally my backyard, and even though my home mountain is Niseko, I go to Risotsu all the time because the skiing there is insane. So yeah, it's going to be an amazing trip for sure. So if anyone is interested, I encourage you to dive into the Discord and to learn a little more and perhaps grab yourself a ticket. It was quite like, yeah, you said serendipitous, but obviously I live in Hokkaido, which, I mean, not very many people live here, and not many NFT and crypto events happen here, if any at all. So when I saw AlpsDAO and then I saw that they were actually doing an event in Risotsu, I couldn't quite believe my luck. So I think it's it's shaping up to be really exciting. And the prop is going to go on chain later this week. Is that the plan?
We're hopeful to. Yeah, we're just trying to get some other eyes on it to give us some opinions on what to put forward. But hopefully, this week. I mean, we're running out of time. Like, we want to get posters done and signage done to be able to put in the resort. This season starts next Thursday. But yeah, I mean, I think the opportunity to essentially brand an entire ski resort for a whole winter is something that's going to be great for the DAO.
100%. There's going to be a lot of very curious tourists in Risotsu doing some digging on what Nouns is all about this winter.
Swami, that was 12 minutes and a half, unfortunately. So
Not bad.
We do need to wind down here, but I do just want to thank Little Nouns for agreeing to share their space with us so we could have 9 o'clock, and also Little Nouns, and we didn't have to pick one or the other, so that's great. It was really interesting. It was nice to hear about Moonbirds. You guys always get the best guests, so you're killing it. Keep it up. One last thing just to highlight is our contest that we currently have live. If you go up into the nest here above me, and scroll back just a couple in the pinned tweets, you'll see, first of all, a big thank you to everybody who has followed us on our journey since the start of the Noun Square. We're up to 4,000 followers as of yesterday, so thank you very much for all that love, guys. And we're doing a little contest to celebrate that. All you need to do is quote tweet that tweet above and tell us your favorite thing about the Noun Square, and you'll be entered into a draw. We'll draw for it tomorrow on the Noun Square at 9 o'clock. And then if you scroll one more time, you'll see the highlight reel contest. This is a contest that is open until, let me double check it just to be sure. It is open until tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow at 8 p.m. EST. And the way this contest works is you need to just make a quick compilation of all the awesome entries for one or more of the 5 contests that we've given in that tweet. And the prizes are 0.5 ETH for the first prize, and then 2 prizes of 0.25 ETH. So some big prizes. If you need a low cost or free software to do those edits, try Canva or another similar. If you have an iPhone, you probably have iMovie on there. That's pretty easy to use as well. Get creative, have fun with it, and we've seen some amazing entries to that already. Hopefully we'll see many more before tomorrow at 8 p.m. And I think that is everything. Did I miss anything, Joshua, on the contest side of things?
No, I think you're good.
Awesome. We will have
these space contests. We'll have those winners soon. They're just so good.
Yeah, that was cool. We did a contest for people to take images from the CC0 space repository from Cosmos and make something nounish out of it, and got some really cool entries from that as well. Did we do our retweet pickers yet? I honestly can't remember.
No, I don't think you've done your retweet picker, and we need to do a retweet picker as well before you shoot off as well, Toby, if that's all right.
Okay, so let me find the retweet picker. I think we did pick it. I just haven't announced it. Yes, so the retweet picker, Sam, you want to announce it? I'll give you a little drum roll.
Yeah.
Go, 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 go.
Was that the drum roll, Ryan?
No.
Yeah.
Go. Go.
Go, go, go.
And the winner is...
Winner is...
Jesse Rising.
Oh.
Jesse Rising, you just won 0.069 ETH for retweeting the room.
The nounish TED Talker himself, Mr. Jesse. Congratulations. Actually, we should call him Uncle Jesse, I suppose. Uncle Jesse, congratulations. You've just won 0.069 ETH. All right. And you've got a retweet picker as well for Little Nouns, have you?
Yes, we do. Yeah, Crusher nobody does that. So we're going to move Crusher and do that, and then straight after that, we've got a winner for a Little Noun as well, which I'll announce, and we'll be done in like 1 minute.
Okay, let's go.
We do. Yep. And since we're little nouns, not big nouns, we're giving away 0.042, and the winner is Dravonic or
Dravonic.
Yep.
Awesome.
I
Congratulations.
see him down there. Congratulations. You've won 0.042.
That's not what I meant to do, but it works.
Works for me.
I meant to do the air horn, but that was nice too. All right. Did you say you have one more prize?
We have a Little Nouns to give away, and I think our
Little
Nouns. A Little Nouns. What?
Yeah, so if you look at the pinned tweet, the latest pinned tweet, we sort of collabed with Charmverse. We recommend you all go check them out. And they graciously give us one little noun to raffle off. And I'm going to do the picker now. And the winner is... well, you're not going to believe it, but I've recorded it anyway. The winner is Crypto Crusher 6, which is one of the fucking speakers here.
Are you going to give it to him?
You can't.
I don't think
have
we should.
me.
Nah, we shouldn't. Nah.
You need to re-roll that.
Re-roll it.
Reroll.
And the re-roll is Biochem, so at Biochem. I'm not sure the audience, but yeah, we're good.
It's who?
Biochem.
Biochem.
Yeah.
You're ugly. You're disgusting.
Card. No, we should do a little plug for next week as well. Whilst we have this.
Yeah, we've got like 20 seconds. So Crusher, you've got
heard that one before.
Guest.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
Crusher, if you want to introduce the next week's guest, man.
Two things real quick. Yeah, we've got non-fungible Noah from now with Yuga, but talking about his own project, which is Howlers. And by the way, I just had to say, I actually. So,
oh no!
I could have been a double winner tonight, but.
Oh geez. Well, you're still a winner.
Well, I appreciate that.
Well,
I think
you wasted your luck for the next 2 or 3 months, so you're not going to win anything else.
I think.
I love that English sounds like.
At what point during
English
the spaces At what point during the spaces did English go into an elevator? That's what I want to know.
I thought he was King
early on.
Red-Nosed Reindeer show.
All right, guys, I do have to wrap this up. Unfortunately, as much fun as we're having, we'll see you back here. Well, actually, we have another spaces in half an hour. It's Milk and Cookies time in half an hour. I won't be here, but there'll be lots of people here. They're baking pies. They're baking pies. Nom nom pies. And there's something about vodka involved. I don't know. I don't know about baking. The only vodka that's involved in my baking does not go into baking. Wow. So that's 8 o'clock, Milk and Cookies. And then we will see you back here as well tomorrow for more Soapbox fun. And of course, 9 o'clock live at 6 p.m. tomorrow, which will be another combo spaces. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And of course, got to play us out with some 50 cent.
Bump, bump, bump.
Remember to get your Nomos, by the way. The price is all the way up to $11 now. You gotta pay extra if you procrastinate to get your Nomo. Nomo.wtf.
What happened to your speaker?
That's a 50 cent speaker.
Black on black crime. You know how I shine. Come on, man. You know how I shine. Up in the hood, in the drop, Teflon, final chop, got 100 wow.